Welcome to Refuse to Lose. My name is Joe Jordan. I am your host today. Today, we're going to dig into week 4 in the NFL and go over a recap on every single game. But before we do that, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and enjoy the rest of the show. Okay, a lot happened in week 5. Very entertaining. A lot of upsets, a lot of surprises, and a lot of statement games happened yesterday. So let's go down the list. The first game we're going to go over are the Bills versus the Texans. Now, I said the Bills were the 4th best team in the NFL last week because their defense, they are a good offensive team and a great defensive team so far. Now, the Texans, of course, they don't have a starting quarterback. So we really can't measure how great their defense is based off this game. All right. But they had to play the game. So they won. When you play a team that you're supposed to beat, you have to beat them. And that's what they did. They beat them 40-0, forced 5 turnovers, and only allowed 109 yards. So that's what you're supposed to do when you are a good team playing a bad team. All right. So great job to the Bills. Next game I'm going to go over is the Giants versus the Saints. Now, look, my upset game of the week was the Giants upsetting the Saints. I picked that. That was one of my picks right there. And that's exactly what happened. Went to overtime. Saquon Barkley finally broke out and had a big run for, I believe, for like 50, a big reception for about 54 yards, I believe. And you're going to see the energy in Saquon Barkley after he scored that touchdown. And this, he's probably saying to us, I'm back. You know, so they beat the Saints. Great job to the Giants getting their first win of the season, right? And then the Titans versus the other upset of the day, Titans versus the Jets. Now, the Titans, their offensive line is terrible. They have a terrible offensive line. The Jets were getting that Tannehill all day long. But what I don't understand is this. King Henry had about 153 yards, I believe. Over 100, I think 143, 153 yards, right? So why is Tannehill throwing the ball more than King Henry when they were up most of the game? That's why I don't get. You're up most of the game. Why are you throwing the ball more than giving it to King Henry? That's a coaching issue right there. Whoever's calling the play, I don't know, it's the offensive coordinator, probably the offensive coordinator, right? So that was just terrible for them. You got to get the ball. You got to feed the beast, especially if you're having a good game. So the game of the week was the Cardinals versus the Rams. Now, last Wednesday when I did my live video, everybody was high on the Rams. I went on every single network and watched this show, that show. Everybody was high on the Rams. Only because they beat the Bucks. They beat the Bucks. All right. So now, and I told myself, I said, you know what? The Cardinals are the best team in the league right now. They're the best team in the league because their offense and defense are performing. So the Rams, their offense are performing, but their defense haven't been. Their defense has been average since the season started. And we guys saw how average that defense can be against the Cardinals yesterday. The Cardinals won 37-20. It should have been even worse than that. All right. And then the Rams scored a late touchdown, and the Cardinals kicked a late field goal when it could have been a touchdown. They were being conservative, right? So the Cardinals manhandled the Rams, took the #1 spot. They're 4-0 with a division win against the best team in the division, quote unquote, right? So great job to the Cardinals. Kyler Murray balled out, all right? Because I said the key to this game is, I said they will get pressure on Kyler Murray, all right? But Kyler Murray will escape using his legs, and the receivers will outplay the cornerbacks, and that's what happened. The receivers outplayed the cornerbacks, right? So great job to the Cardinals. Ravens versus the Broncos. Now, Broncos were undefeated. I said last week, they play all winless teams. They haven't played out one team that won a game. So I picked the Ravens to win this game. Now, people might say, well, you know, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. Teddy Bridgewater, when he got hurt, it was in the 3rd quarter, and they were down by 10. And the Ravens were in full control of that game when Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. They had no momentum. So that's not the reason why they would have still lost if he would have stayed there. All right, so great job to the Ravens getting another great win of the season. All right, and John Harbaugh, instead of kneeling the ball, he rushed it and kept the streak alive for 100 yards, having over 100 rushing yards a game. All right, so great job to the Ravens. Steelers versus the Packers. I said the Steelers can't hang with the Packers because when you play the Packers, you have to front run. You have to get a big lead ahead of them. It can't be a back and forth, or it can't be the Packers have to lead the whole game. You have to take the lead and push it. You got to get up by two or three possessions, and then what starts to happen is the Packers start getting into panic mode. We also that first week is the Saints. Against the Saints got a big lead on them early, and then next thing you know, they going for on third down their own territory. All right, so the Steelers we're going to do that because Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, their running back played pretty good. Last year, they didn't have a running game. Now they have a running game, but Big Ben look even worse because he's getting older. Like he's getting older, guys. You guys, if you're a Steelers fan, you need another quarterback. Joe Hayden, he said, I'm going to test the free agent market. I'm pretty sure he's testing free agent market because he's not confident in his quarterback. Now, if he had a young quarterback back there, up and coming quarterback, I think Joe Hayden would have been signed his contract, right? So that's my thoughts on the Steelers and Packers. Packers won that game 27-17. And then we have the Cowboys versus the Panthers. Now, look, I said last week that the Panthers were going to be a tough match for them. I picked the Panthers to win that game, by the way. I said that this would be a test for the Cowboys, a measuring stick for them, for that offense, because they're going to be playing a great defense. Now, the Panthers do not have J.C. Horn, and they don't have Christian McCaffrey. So let me talk about the Panthers first. So J.C. Horn has been playing great all season. He's been playing he's been the best performer at the cornerback position as a rookie so far this season up until his injury. So he out with a broken leg. And then Christian McCaffrey, your best player. Now, let me tell you how key Christian McCaffrey is. On offense, he draws attention. The fact that Christian McCaffrey wasn't there, I mean, the highest leading rusher had 57 yards. Right? So a lot of attention came to Sam Darnold, and guess what happened? He threw 2 turnovers. He threw 2 interceptions. Also, when you have Christian McCaffrey, right, you're able to have far as time of possession, you're able to increase your time of possession, and of course score more points on the board. And what that does, it helps your defense. But when you can't score and you're turning the ball over in your own territory, you're putting more pressure on that defense. So I think that's what happened. They kept getting a Cowboys a short field. But to give the Cowboys credit, the Cowboys looks great, man. They look great. They look like a complete team. I mean, on defense, they rushing the passer. I mean, they getting a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold today, right? They sacked him a few times. Gregory in the first game back got a sack of the season, right? And then you have the back end of the defense. I mean, Trayvon Diggs is playing lights out. I mean, 2 interceptions yesterday. You know, I think he has 5 for the year. He's leading the league so far in interceptions. They're playing really good on defense. They really are. You know, they're really playing really good on defense. Now, the score doesn't tell the story. 36-28. The Panthers been a late rally at the end, but they were down by 3 touchdowns. Cowboys were manhandling this team. You know, and then on offense, man, Zeke Elliott, he got an extra pep to his step now. He got a burst now in his runs. You know, he played really good today. Like, I think he had about 90. He need to get 100 yards at least one game, but he had about 90-some yards, I believe. But he played really good, and Dak Prescott has been accurate. Well, yeah, he's been accurate, but he's been making the right reads. And here's the thing: when they have all these receiving weapons. They have one of the best receiving corps in the league. And then you have a running game attached to it. It makes the field goes from the quarterback to like this. The quarterback, I mean, they can see it, and they had a good offensive line. You have time in the pocket to see everything. So Dak is doing what Dak is supposed to do. Hit the open man, because he has time in the pocket, because the defense had to be honest with the rushing game, and have a good offensive line. You know, and there's a lot of one-on-one coverages out there when the Cowboys are playing. So it's not a lot of tight windows. Not he has been throwing the ball on some tight windows, but now on a normal basis. You don't have to continually throw the ball in these tight windows. Most of these passes, these people are wide open. All right. So great job to the Cowboys. They're like a complete team. I mean, they could rival my Washington football team could rival this team. But matter of fact, let's talk about the Washington football team. Now look, let's start here. I'm happy the Washington football team won. They beat the Falcons 34-30. You know, the offense looked really good. I mean, Taylor Heinicke, a lot of pressure on him because the defense not stepping up. So Taylor Heinicke is playing really good, man. He's been clutch down the stretch. Now I'm starting to say to myself, man, Taylor Heinicke is clutch. I've been trusting him against the Giants. He threw the interception, came back, took him. First of all, before that interception, he took him downfield, scored a touchdown. He threw an interception. Defense made it up, got a stop for him. He got the ball back, let him down the field for a field goal. Same thing in this game. He goes down, scores a touchdown. The Falcons goes down and do the same thing. So he has to come down and score another touchdown or get a field goal. And he ends up scoring a touchdown. Well, yeah, scoring a touchdown. And the defense had to step up in the fourth quarter, which they did, right? So, but Terry, the thing about Taylor Heinicke is this. He's giving the ball to his receivers. He's letting his receivers win battles. He's getting opportunities in a smart way. Now, there were 2 passes he threw yesterday that could have been interception. If that was Fitzpatrick right there, it would have been 4 passes yesterday that could have been intercepted. So Fitzpatrick is always known for giving his receivers chances. Taylor Heinicke is doing the same thing, and he has legs. He can use his legs. What I like about Taylor Heinicke, he scans the whole field. He's learning as he played this game. Last week against the Buffalo Bills, he was standing on his receivers a lot. This week, he wasn't doing that as much. You know, so Taylor Heinicke is growing, guys. You got to realize he hasn't started 5 games yet in his whole career. You know, so that's what I love about Taylor Heinicke. He's been clutch, and he's very confident. Now, let's talk about this sorry defense. Now, look, if I was Ron Rivera, I would line up all the defensive players, right? I would scan it, and I would look for William Jackson. I would grab William Jackson's helmet, and I'd probably sit that dude home. He played terrible. He began torch every single game. It was actually one play. This dude did a whole 360. Like, what are you doing? Listen, Landry Collins, come on, man. I expected so much from you. Your coverage defense is terrible. Fuller, you have your moments here and there. Like in the fourth quarter, when the Falcons threw the ball across the middle, I think on second down, and you swiped it down, that was a great play. But you be having your moments too, man. I don't get it. And these linebackers, come on. Listen, the front 4, you guys got pressure a few times in the game, you know, more than you guys have lately. But this is the Falcons, guys. These are the Falcons. The Falcons, we were not supposed to win 34-30 against the Falcons. Come on. This is the same team that only scored 6 points to Philly. And we just saw how bad Philly looked on Monday night. Man. I'm watching this game. When the game came on, I said, you know what? This is going to be a good game. This game reminds me of us against the Bills. The Bills needed us to get their groove back. And I was thinking, you know what? Our defense need Atlanta to get our groove back. But look like they got their groove on us. Every time I look at the TV when the Falcons had the ball, I felt like every pass Matt Ryan threw, it was either a catch, right, over bad defense, or it was a drop pass. Either one. Every time he threw the ball, I felt that way. And all these missed, it just look terrible. Bad covers, missed tackles, right? Chase Young. Come on, Chase Young. I love you, man. Please don't be like Jadeveon Clowney. Please don't come in here with all this hype, you know, from college. had one good year, and then next thing you know, you fall, you disappear. You still haven't got a sack, my guy. And then one time you got a sack, you roughed the passer. Yes, it was roughing the passer. You're not putting to push your arm in the helmet of the quarterback. Man. But look, I know my man Chase Young's going to bounce back. But I got to speak the truth. He hasn't been doing his thing, man. He's still, listen, we're 4 weeks in, and he has 0 sacks. I picked this guy to be Defensive Player of the Year. And his defense is probably the worst secondary in the league. Probably the worst secondary in the league. But you know one way you can help the secondary? Get some freaking pressure on the quarterback. Man, every time they dial up a blitz, when a linebacker is blitzing, I be like, what? Like, first of all, it's like I don't know if it's me, but I feel like the blitz are always delayed, number one. And number two, they never get in the backfield. Like, the linebackers are never in the backfield. So, even though they won that game, guys, I'm frustrated. All I know is they got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of fixing to do, man. Because this is unacceptable. There's no way we're going to challenge the Cowboys without offense with this sorry defense. But good win. Well, not good win, but good job for winning. Because as you learn, you want to win. It's better to learn from a game when you win versus learn from a game when you lose. Not all the time, because sometimes when you win, you get big-headed and you take things for granted. Please don't take this for granted. Watch the film and look at all these holes in this defense. It looks terrible. We're not going to be able to challenge the Cowboys if the defense is playing like this. Now, the offense is playing lights out, man. They're playing really good. They really are. They're playing really good. When you watch this offense, now, there are certain plays yesterday when and forget that. It's the Atlanta Falcons. We should have scored over 40 points. It was times in that game, man. The play calling in the beginning of that game. The play calling was terrible. Man, we need to feed Gibson more. Feed him the rock. Gibson is a playmaker also. Don't forget. He was a receiver coming out of college. Transferred to him. He's a hybrid running back. Use him more. Use Gibson more. So that's okay. Let's move to the next game because I'm getting frustrated thinking about this team. All right, the Buccaneers against the Patriots. The last game we're gonna talk about. Now, I actually went to a bar to go watch this game. As you guys know, I live in Rhode Island, so I'm in New England. A lot of Patriots fans here and a lot of Tom Brady fans here. So the bar I went to was mixed feelings. You have half the room for Tom Brady and half the room for the Patriots. How crazy is that, right? So Tom Brady, man, he was scared. I mean, he was nervous. He had a jitters, what you want to call it. I mean, he looked. I mean, people might say it was raining, but he was overthrowing everybody. When it's raining, you normally don't overthrow someone. Maybe you will underthrow it, But he was throwing a lot of bad passes. He wasn't very accurate at all. Even though Tom Brady had a better QBR, Mac Jones outperformed Tom Brady yesterday, in my opinion. He outperformed Tom Brady. But what kept the Buccaneers alive yesterday was Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, right? Playoff Lenny had a good game. I mean, he didn't have 100 yards rushing. I think he had about 90 yards, to be honest with you, right? But he had a good game. He had a good game. He kept them alive, kept them afloat. He had a good game in the backfield and the passing. Now, here's the thing. Listen. The good thing about Belichick, right? As you look at their defense today, he kept switching things up, guys. I mean, like I said, I guess I made my predictions. I picked the Patriots to win this game, by the way. Belichick knows Tom Brady like this. Tom Brady knows Belichick like this. So Belichick, he kept switching. He didn't let Tom get comfortable. Every time Tom figured that defense out, he switched it up. That's good coaching, man. That's good coaching. Now, what killed the Patriots when they had good drives, but they couldn't score the touchdown. They only think about it. The score was they only scored 3 times. They scored 2 touchdowns and the field goal. But they had a lot more opportunities to score. Now, the Patriots, Tom Brady being accurate, especially they could have scored that touchdown at the end of the game. But first of all, he threw a bad pass to Antonio Brown. But that second pass he threw, Antonio Brown should have caught that. But all game, I think it was one third down, second down. He threw it at Antonio Brown, overthrew him, and then third down right after that, to do it to Antonio Brown, overthrew him again, twice in a row. So Tom Brady played poorly yesterday, but at the end of the day, Tom Brady is a winner. And what winners do when there's a terrible game out of the winner, you still find a way to win. Because it was a hostile environment. They was greeting him, they was hugging, kissing Tom Brady on the way here. And as soon as he stepped on that field, all you heard was boos. I was like, wow, this was up fast. So the Patriots, they lost that game 19-17. I know Belichick is hurting right now. And Mac Jones played a good game, man. Like, Mac Jones was very confident in the pocket. He was making great throws. He wasn't thinking and dunking. I said it. I said this defense is a good opportunity for Mac Jones to get his groove on. And that's what he did. He's going to build from this game. He's going to build from this game. So I think going forward, Mac Jones is going to play much better because they could have won every game they played, but Mac Jones just wasn't aggressive. And he was highly aggressive this game. Not saying he was throwing the ball 40 yards downfield, but he was throwing the ball past the first down mark on first down and second down. So, but great job to the Buccaneers win that game. So that's my analysis for this weekend. Until those are only games I'm going to go over. And, man, it was an entertaining week. And we'll see what happens going forward in the NFL, see how the schedule unfold, and see who will take, after 5 weeks, we're going to talk about the divisions, the different divisions and stuff like that. So thank you very much for staying to the end, guys. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.
Great job. You made it to the end. I really appreciate that. You made it to the end. Now, before you leave this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell also so you can be notified when we drop our next video. And lastly, make sure use the comment section. Put your comments down. Tell me what you think about this topic we just went over. Tell me your comments, your opinions, and maybe we can have a chat debate in the comments. So I appreciate you guys for staying, and I'll see you at the next show.